Hey everyone, Helena here with your shiny shove, the push, the prod, the nudge to help you have a really great day. And I'm looking at you through kind of slightly blurry glasses. These are new, they're very focals, they're weird. I don't like them. I've had them since September and they haven't really worked for me, but I haven't actually gone back to the shop and said, I don't like them. But I plucked up the courage this morning. I think I worked my way through why I have been avoiding it, and there was a real vulnerability for me around, wow, if I don't have my eyes, then how can I do the things I do and actually make the impact I love making? So that was sort of sitting behind it all. And then of course, in the way that you do, I know that when I get vulnerable, I have a tendency to get defensive slash a little bit angry slash frustrated. And I, of course, attracted exactly the right person I needed, who was Michael, and not in a good way, I was really bringing the anxious vibes, and so I got the person that would really trigger those vibes entirely. And yeah, an hour and a bit later, I have some more information about how I might use these glasses. I still can't see them properly. Like, you have to move your head, not the glasses. It's a very odd thing. But the point here is because I knew that I have a tendency when I am vulnerable, in a vulnerable position, e.g., I feel sensitive about not having my sight and what that might mean, and I can dramatize about that quite happily. I was able to recognize when I got fully triggered, Michael showed up as very superior and like, don't you know what to do? I was like, no, I really don't know what to do, which is why I haven't been doing it. And truly not exactly the kind of service that I would actually want. But it did mean that I actually just, because I find it so unfair to not get the service, because service is important, right? I walked out of the shop, I shouted at the person a little bit, or certainly talked loudly at the person, and eventually kind of came back having, sort of like, I walked out of the shop because I was so angry that I was actually going to shout properly. So gathered myself back up, asked to speak to a different person. That person didn't actually sort of come for a little while, so it's like, oh gosh, this is a real triggering morning. But the point here is I needed to be vulnerable to get the result that I wanted. So it was really in my end result of, I need to understand why these aren't working for me, and I need a solution, which is either a new pair of glasses, or at least to understand why I've been failing at wearing them, or being a glasses wearer in this way, sort of, and I'm having a go at doing what they said I was needing to do, but it feels a bit weird. So I'm trying it on, and I'm now being vulnerable with these. We have a different solution kind of in place as well, and yeah, the point here is, in this shiny shove, partly a rant, but also when you know how you get when you are vulnerable, you can notice the triggers faster, and you can actively work towards kind of putting yourself in a good position that supports you. So if you know that you are likely to hide or withdraw within kind of being vulnerable, then what's the support that you might need? If you know that you're likely, like me, to go into frustration or irritation, and be sensitive to anything that kind of picks at you, then you can be very aware of that and actively kind of do your best to manage your state, and even say up front, which is the bit I didn't do today. I did it with the second person, and I explained why I was getting so anxious or annoyed, sort of, or that my anxiousness was showing up as annoyance, which then took which then settled the whole of the situation, and we actually got a lot more rectification. But the point here is if you know in your vulnerability, and we all need to be vulnerable at many times in the conversations we have, whether it's with a lover, a shopkeeper, sort of a service that you want to actively have, even with yourself, kind of being open and vulnerable enough to face the bigger stuff. The point here is that you can really support yourself in just showing up by knowing and asking for what you need up front. So that's my invitation today, is to notice, how do you show up vulnerably, and what do you need that supports you to get the end result, even though it feels uncomfortable. Many blessings. Have a great, wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to keep being uncomfortable with these things and see how it goes. Blessings.